I go through a lot to make a single tutorial. My language is suck, can't even say a word without mistake, take a day to render a simple scene like this, and my GPU RX 470 won't work with cycles anymore. Okay, cut to the chase. So I have divided this video to 5 major sections. How I made the bottle, how I made the sea, how I made the Xerox, how I made the ship, and how I made the clouds.
This tutorial is not for beginners.
For the bottle, nothing fancy. Use a reference image ES, add a solidify modifier, subdivision surface and supports edge loops. Keep in the mind. Make sure after applying the solidify modifier to make the bottom thicker, because that's how bottles made it. In the glass shader, use the volume absorption to control the color and the color density. If you are planning to use depth of field, use the real world scale. For me, I used 25 cm, maybe 30, I forget, because it's nearly impossible to make a 4 meters bottle look the right scale with the depth of field. Use a noise texture to drive a bump node, because glass bottles are bumpy. Now for the ocean, you really has to have a powerful computer to simulate 2 billion parts. No, just kidding. I just use a plane, then apply an ocean modifier. Now here is the settings. Make the repeat 2 in X and Y. Go to waves and up the scale a little bit, maybe to 3.4 or 5. Go to object data properties, vertex colors, and create a new slot. Let's name it foam. And Ctrl C to copy the name. Back to the modifier, enable foam. Then paste the name in data layer. I don't know what spray do, it generates weird images. Now go to bake section and bake. It should be quick though, don't worry. Once the bake is finished, go to shading, create a new material, Shift A, input, vertex color, foam. If you have node wrangler enabled and you press Ctrl Shift left click, you will have the foam. But it's not supposed to look like this, right? Come on, it looks like teenage paints. Now, because this image is a vertex paint, it depends on the mesh resolution. Ocean modifier is a weird modifier. He converts any object to an ocean, he ignores any modifier before, and ignores completely the resolution of the mesh. The only way to appraise this mesh is through the modifier itself. So go to the resolution and make it 30 in viewport and render. And voila! Now you have the most detailed ocean that you ever dream of. Now, if we apply this modifier, we will end up with more than 3 million vertices. So it's not an effective way to do the work. So go to the material and create an image texture, press new and name it foam. Make the resolution 496 and turn off alpha, we won't use it. Then OK. Select the image and go to render section. Switch to cycles and go all the way down to bake. In the bake type, choose emit. Go to samples, then render, and load the samples to something like 10. I used 20, but 10 should be enough. Make sure again the image texture is selected, then press bake. The baking takes some time, so be patient. And don't be fooled by the slow progress. After 4%, it will skip to the end. When the bake is done, Ctrl Shift left click, and you have the same details baked in an image texture. Now you can down the resolution of the ocean back to 7. Don't forget to save the image. Go to render, choose the image that you have created, foam, then go to image, save. You can however bake all of these details using the selected to active method, which I will not cover in this tutorial. Really, you can do a lot in this topic. Maybe I will do a separate video, I don't know. Now apply the ocean modifier, go to edit mode, extrude the mesh down. Grab the bottle and put it in good position. Enable the bool tool add-on, go to edit, add-ons, type bool in the search box. Then enable it. Go to the bottle, duplicate it and hide it for now. Select the other bottle and apply the solidify modifier. Tap to enter edit mode. Select any ring in the top of the neck. Press X and delete it. Hover over the outside of the mesh and press L. Then press X and delete. Fill the gaps now, then tab out from the edit mode. Shift and select the ocean. Then press Ctrl Star to make an intersect boolean. Apply the boolean modifier. Then move the boolean cutter to another collection. Let's name it B for backup, because we will use it again with the rock sea and the clouds. Then disable the collection. Go back to the ocean, then right click and smooth. Go to mesh data, normals, then check auto smooth. For the ocean material, it looks like it is complicated, but it's not. I just use a glass material along with a volume absorption. I use the volume to control the color and the density of the ocean. Make sure to change the IUR to 133 because it's supposed to be the proper IUR for water. And all of these is just mask that's controlling the effects to making them happen only in the surface of the ocean. I have just separate the normals, choose the Z, then crank up the contrast to make it either white or black. Because we don't want the foam or the bump to be in the contact surface between the water and the bottle. That is the core idea. That's it for the ocean. It's the hardest part. For the ship, it's one of my old projects and completed like a bunch of others. The material is procedural, so I make some adjustment to make the ship look damaged and old. Then I baked everything to image textures because Eevee is really slow in reading procedural materials. The material is a little bit off, but I don't care because it will be in a dark environment anyway. For the Xerox, it's the same. I will not go into repeat myself here. I have just used a plane and apply a displace modifier, then I played with the ramp a little bit. Then apply the displace, then extrude the mesh down. Then SZ0 to flatten the bottom. Then I use the bool tool. As a cutter, I use the same mesh that I hide in the B collection. For the materials, I just use a noise texture, then stretch it in the X or the Y, I don't remember. Then use it with the color and the bump. Same for the clouds. I just create a cube and the bool tool and etc. etc. Really the main thing in the cloud is the materials. I just use of course a principled volume. I have used 3 Voronoi to make details. I use the Z normal, mix it with the noise texture, then crank the contrast using a color ramp. All of that to make the bottom of the clouds spicy like clouds. Multiply it with the Voronoi and multiply it with a number like 400 for example to make it very dense. Then connect it to density. Then I used a similar setup to control the emission. I have also made some rain using a plane and applying a particle system on it. And apply some wind force field. The main thing in this particle system is 1. The number 320,000 particles. 2. Emit from faces and random distribution. 3. In physics use some Brownian force. And that's it for modeling and materials. For the lighting I used several lights underneath the water and other lights around the character and the ship and maybe 2 lights outside the bottom and of course the HDR. And keep one thing in the mind. You have to go to object property, go to visibility and turn off the glossy and the transmission. I have turned off the camera as well. And something else, you may see the character lit in a way, but it's not a lighting effect. I used a technique, which maybe I will cover in separate video. Now for this video, that's it. I mean, that's really it. I have never succeeded to keep the viewer's attention for more than a minute or 2. For that, I think 7 or 8 minutes are more than any one of my viewers can handle. So, if you like the video, go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want, and thanks for watching.